Hello everyone, my name's Dylan Harris and welcome to Fishing Frontier. I've heard a lot of people say they want to learn how to fish, but they just don't know how. So I've decided to dedicate this first episode of Fishing Frontier to teach you how to fish a pond. We're going to learn how to catch the three most basic types of freshwater pond fish: bluegill, bass, and catfish. It's adventure time. Let's hit the water.
My name is Dylan Harris, outdoor adventurer and angler. I have a passion for fishing and the outdoors, so I decided to make this show to help others see the excitement that can be found in both. Join me as I embark on a journey to catch many different types of fish out there on the fishing frontier. Today, we will be fishing in one of our favorite farm ponds in Olive Hill, Kentucky, near Carter Cave State Park.
So we're going to start out fishing for bluegill. And usually when you fish for bluegill, you use a very simple technique that you've probably heard about before: a bobber and a hook. And before we get started, I'm going to show you how to bait that hook and put a worm on it. So we take our worm, and it's fairly simple. You take it and you just thread it on to the hook, like so. PG-13, some violence. And you do that until the whole worm is on the hook, and this prevents it from falling off the hook. Alright, we're ready to go.
Bluegill are part of the panfish family, which is part of the larger sunfish family, which also includes bass and crappie. Interesting fact, the panfish family got its name because usually these fish never get any larger than the size of a frying pan. The two most common types of panfish found in ponds are the bluegill and the green sunfish.
So part of fishing is just finding where the fish are, and that is called fishing the water column. We don't know where the fish are in the water column, but we're going to start about 2 feet down for bluegill. So when the bobber's sitting out there, you'll know you have a bite when you see the bobber bob up and down. But don't get too excited, because we need to be patient and wait for the fish to take it fully underwater. And when it does that, that's when you can set the hook. How you set the hook is when the fish goes down, you'll want to jerk up on your rod to stick the hook in the fish's mouth and then reel it in. So we've been sitting here a few minutes, and it seems we're having no luck with this spot. So what you do if you have no luck in one spot is move to the other spot. You want to make sure that there's no slack in your line, and you do that by reeling in a little until the bobber moves just a little. And what that does is when a fish takes the bobber under, it gives you a better chance to hook the fish. Well, no luck in 3 spots, so now let's try a little deeper in the water column. To fish deeper in the water column, you'll want to move your bobber up on the line. So how you do that is you'll want to pull down this spring and then just slide it up a little, and then let go, and it locks back into place. As you can see, part of fishing is having patience. So, this is a bluegill. It's actually a sunfish, but part of the panfish family. So, bluegills have these spikes that will spike you, but there is a way to avoid it. You run your hand over them, and the spikes will lay down, and you won't, and that's how you hold them safely. But, anyway, that's our bluegill. On to bass. So now, for bass, we use a little different technique. They don't really like worms and stuff, so we use what I like to call live action bait, which are also known as lures. The lures are used to mimic their prey swimming through the water.
There are many different types of bass out there, but the two most common types of freshwater bass found in ponds are the largemouth bass, known for its large mouth when fully opened, and the smallmouth bass, known for, you guessed it, its smaller mouth. Today, we will be fishing for the largemouth bass.
So generally, bass are found on the shoreline. So we're going to run this lure on the shoreline and see if we can get lucky. After many casts, we concluded that the fish weren't hitting topwater lures, so we're switching to something a little different, bomber lures. Bomber lures allow us to fish a little deeper in the water column. Well, the good news is you can now tell we're riding deeper in the water column. Well, we're running deeper, but we seem to be getting stuff on our lure, which doesn't give it a good presentation. So we're going to try something a little different. We're going to put on a worm and a bobber and fish near the bottom and see what we can catch. Fish like cooler water temperature, so sometimes they go deeper to get in that cooler water. We're going to bring it in and check our bait. We'll try this spot one more time and then we're going to head over to a different place. Alright, time to switch spots. We got a bite. Part of fishing is missing the fish. Fix our worm and try again. It's always nice to know the underwater landscape to know where fish might like to hide. A bunch of guys have cool gadgets on their boat that show them the entire underwater landscape. have any of those gadgets, but we do happen to know that there's a tree underwater right here. Ooh, we got something. Could it be our bass? Looks like it's another bluegill. It's a butte, but not what we're looking for. We'll have to use the pliers to get this one out. We'll be right back. Okay guys, we're back. We just got a bite, so we're gonna see what happens. Ooh,
Gone.
it took our bait. We've missed the same fish 3 times. That's how it goes sometimes, but we're gonna catch him. We got something. It looks like it's a bluegill. Well, we're catching plenty of bluegill today, but no bass. Every catch is fun, but it's not the one we want. The sun's getting low, and we haven't been getting much luck with the bass on worms, so we're going to give it a few more minutes, then switch back to lures. Nothing has worked, so we switch back to lures, and we're just going to run this bank line before it gets dark. This type of lure is called a soft plastic, and when you run it through the water, its tail flicks around to make it look like a little minnow. Caught our long-awaited bass. This is a common type of bass called a largemouth bass. Must have been pretty hard to name that one. But the way to hold a bass is like this, by their mouth. You have to have a firm grip so they know who's boss. But it may seem like this hurts them, but it doesn't. So that's our bass. It's pretty good size, and so we're gonna let it go. Those are a fun fish to catch because they just take it and go. Now on to catfish. Yes! Now, time for the third and final fish, the catfish. Catfish are generally bottom feeders, and they like stinky bait. So we'll be fishing about 6 feet down in the water column and using a night crawler sprayed with garlic. Definitely not something I would want to eat, but the catfish seem to love it.
The 2 most common types of catfish found in this area are the channel catfish and the blue catfish. Today we are fishing for the channel catfish. Catfish get their name from the long cat-like whiskers around their mouths. Unlike cats and dogs, whose whiskers are made of hair, catfish have special whisker-like feelers made of skin. These sensitive feelers are called barbels. Each barbel is loaded with tiny taste buds and special sensors to help the fish smell. Catfish tend to live in dark, murky waters where their vision isn't very useful. This is why it is important to use strong smelling baits when fishing for catfish.
Remember, when you're fishing with a bobber, keep that slack out of your line so you're ready to set the hook whenever it drops. It looks like we've caught something. We got some action. Well, it looks like we caught Usually that doesn't happen this far down with worms, but I guess so. Nice little largemouth. How come you couldn't have done this when we were back fishing? Well, let's give her another whirl. It looks like we got something else. The fish are really deep today. Usually, you also don't catch bluegill on them. Now remember, while holding a bluegill, you must be careful of their spikes. Well, let's go a little deeper. Let's try some bottom fishing. So with bottom fishing, you have to put your finger on the line so you can feel when the fish is biting. Right now, one's taking. Ooh, got something. Ooh, another bass. It's really rare that you catch a bass bottom fishing, but that's a good sized bass. So there's our bass that you usually don't catch bottom fishing, but looks like we did. Well, let's keep on trying. Oh, got a bite. Everybody get ready. We got something. Hopefully it's our catfish. Oh, it's a bluegill. A really big bluegill. This is a huge bluegill. So, we're gonna put it back in, but that's a massive bluegill. Getting a bite. Got something. Bluegill. Alright. Another huge bluegill. Green-eared sunfish is in the panfish family, so it's related to bluegill. You can tell it's a green-eared sunfish by the green markings on its face. Bluegill don't have that, and it's yellow belly. Okay, we're gonna give it one more try, but it's almost too dark to film. Still fishing on the bottom, hoping for a catfish. Gang, running out of daylight, so cross your fingers out there. We got something! Fish on! Another bass! Get bigger every time we catch them. Alright, well, we're running out of daylight and we caught 3 bass, 2 bluegills, but no catfish. So we're going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to see if we can have any better luck.
Well, here we are on day 2. Although we had a great day yesterday and caught multiple bass, bluegill, and green sunfish, we weren't able to bring it home with a channel cat. So we are back at it, fishing on the bottom, hoping our persistence pays off and we land a big one for you guys.
Once again, remember to keep the slack out of your line so when they pull on it, you're ready to set the hook. Well, we got everything set up. We're doing it right. Now we just gotta wait. It's something big. So when you're reeling in something this big, if you're using light line, you need to make sure it doesn't break your line. Or you can set your drag so you don't break your line. It's a big one, whatever it is. I think this may be our catfish. We almost got it in. She's a beauty. And finally, our long-awaited catfish. It's a big one. Everybody says catfish can sting you, but they're wrong. They do have pointy fins that can spike you, but there's a way to hold them and avoid being spiked. One hand right here, and one hand right here under the fins. So we are going to show you how you can hold them. And that's how you safely hold a catfish. Now we're going to let it go. Well, we finally caught our 3 fish. We caught the bluegill, its cousin, the green ear sunfish. We caught the bass and the catfish. We hoped you learned a lot this episode and that you feel comfortable now going out into the great outdoors and loving fishing. But until next time, this is Dylan Harris signing off for Fishing Frontier.